Horizon Zero Dawn was a fantastic game, one of the best PlayStation exclusives I've played of this console generation, if not the best PlayStation exclusive I've ever played. A lot of people, of course, are going to have different opinions, saying they preferred The Last of Us, they preferred Uncharted. Of course, all fantastic games. They're not like distances apart in my mind, they're all phenomenal, but something about Horizon Zero Dawn for me has been one of the best PlayStation exclusives I've ever played. And in this video, I'm going to be going over 7 things that I want to see in the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. We're coming up on the DLC soon, the Frozen Wilds, which of course will be streaming over on Horsey and Fox. Link in the description to that channel if you want to go ahead and subscribe to see us play that when it comes out and have a good time there. But like I said in this video, this is going to be going over 7 things I want to see in the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this list. At number 7, something that I want to see that I think a lot of people are going to agree with is more customization. The customization that was in Horizon Zero Dawn was great, I enjoyed all of it, but I think that it just needs a little bit more, whether that be with the way you can personalize your bows, possibly taking a bow, and then what goes into crafting that is you choosing the 3 arrow types you can use, rather than it kind of being like a randomized thing that is sort of on each bow, allow you to customize those bows the way you want. The same way you can put the various items onto them to increase the skills of certain aspects. Allow me to customize the bow and put on certain elements that I want. Say I want fire, electric, and a tear shot. Let me put those all on. Or if I want, you know, a sharp shot thing and to use some corruption as well, I can do that if I want to. Let me intercustomize the arrows that I can use with my various bows to make it more personalized to me. And on that same sort of note, I think outfits need more personalization. Rather than having preset outfit types, maybe give us individual armor pieces. Give us legs, boots, torso, and a headpiece for us to customize the way that we want and interchange them out with various other armor types, very similar to The Witcher 3. It'd also be great to let us dye those armor types so we can change the color of them if we want, and maybe change some of the patterns on them and things like that. That might be going a bit far, but I think just various armor types that we can customize with coloring would be really, really cool. Another thing to add to this as well would be possible mount customization. Now, the way that I look at this is somewhat like the car in Mad Max, if you've played that. You have this car, and as you go through the game, you find different pieces, you upgrade it, and you end up making it this fucking beast the way that you want it to be, whether you want it to be a tank, whether you want it to be, you know, really fast. And that's sort of the same thing I would like for Horizon Zero Dawn with the mount system. You have a mount that's then your mount that you find somewhat early on in the game, starts off quite slow and weak, but as you go through the game, you can either turn that into, you know, a tank that can really take things down, maybe put some guns on it, but it's pretty slow, or something that's rather fast but doesn't have a lot of firepower, or maybe once you get it to a certain level, you can add other components onto it that, you know, makes it stronger, makes it quicker, makes it more agile, and there could be some more elements there with the mount system in terms of customization. And on this note as well, I will add, I think there needs to be a little bit more tweaking there to the skill tree, and maybe some more dialogue options as well. But other than that, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn was fantastic in what it did. I think it just needs more of it. At number 6, we have more side quests. Now, there were tons of fantastic side quests in Horizon Zero Dawn, do not get me wrong. When I say more side quests, it's not me saying there wasn't enough. It's me saying that, you know, in a sequel, they could potentially do a lot more. Like, I think that Horizon Zero Dawn, they were somewhat playing it safe while taking a risk, if that makes sense. They wanted to release this new action RPG game, but they didn't want to spend, like, they didn't want to end up making a bigger game than The Witcher 3, because that game is so big and it already knew its audience, it knew it was going to be successful, whereas with Horizon, they didn't know. It was sort of hit or miss. Will this game do well? Will this game do bad? I don't want to put loads into it. And now they know it's a success. They can go ahead and, with the sequel, put in far more content. Not that there wasn't a lot of content in Horizon Zero Dawn 1, but they can take it a step up now with the sequel and throw in a bunch more side quests and side activities and things to do with various characters you meet throughout the world, etc. And that'll be a really good time, adding more life and more depth to the universe of Horizon Zero Dawn. At number 5, I have freer climbing. Now, I think a lot of people will agree with me when I say that the climbing in Horizon Zero Dawn was a good time. it was just the fact that it was very Uncharted style, maybe not even quite Uncharted style in the way that they did it, in which that you could only climb where there were yellow ropes, essentially, or some walls you could climb, but it was just a lot of yellow ropes and things that, you know, it was like kind of set areas. And I think that with Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and I think this is something that really does fit the Horizon series, is give us freer climbing. Let us climb wherever we want, whenever we want, sort of thing. Because there was a bunch of times when I saw like a rock face and I was like, I'd be able to climb that. Like, I would 100% be able to grab hold of those, you know, sections in the rock and pull myself up. I'd be able to do that. So I don't understand why Aloy can't. And I'm not saying go full Assassin's Creed with it in terms of, you know, I don't want Aloy to be climbing through the city and stuff like that. But, you know, whenever you enter a city in Horizon, it always sort of changed the gameplay, so you couldn't sort of fire your bow everywhere and shit, which I think is good. So I think that maybe keep that, but allow us when we're out in the open world to sort of climb whatever we want. If there's a handhold, let us grab that, because I think climbing works really well in Horizon. It's something that in The Witcher 3 would not be necessary, and you know, that's something that I would not want. But in Horizon, since climbing is already one of the main aspects, just make it freer. Let us climb whatever we want. If we see a tree, a rock, you know, whatever, let us climb those things, because I think it'll add a lot more to the gameplay and will be a ton of fun. At number 4, I have more things to do in cities. Now, cities were great in Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, the only real city we sort of had was Meridian. However, I would like more to do in them, because they were nice and they were cool, and Meridian was awesome. But I think it'd be nice if, you know, you could go into a tavern or something. You can go in and you can, you know, into an inn or something. You can interact with all these characters, have little conversations here and there. You can talk to like the innkeeper and stuff, and maybe grab a drink or whatever, and just little immersive things here and there. Allow Aloy to have, you know, a house or something, somewhere to, you know, go to rest and stuff like that. I think that a lot more immersive things would be useful inside of cities, since they're an area you can't do combat in and things. I think it would make sense if there was a lot of cool RPG style immersive elements to immerse you within those cities when you're in them in the game. At number 3, I want a story in the same vein as Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I know it's difficult because they've already introduced the story, and the first story in a franchise is always going to be the most mysterious, the most intriguing, and now we already know about all of these elements within the story of Horizon Zero Dawn, with things like Gaia and things like Hades. They have definitely set up for a sequel that'll be interesting and intriguing, and I think it'll be ever so slightly different now that Aloy knows more about the world she's in, and she's a lot more intelligent and wise after that first game. However, I would still like a story where we're always guessing, you know what I mean? That was something that was really great about Horizon, is that the story always kept us guessing. We didn't know what was coming up next. We didn't know what different characters were going to do. We didn't know, you know, what plot twist was going to come up next. So I think it'd be nice if in a sequel we have a story in that same vein, something very similar to that style, although about something else. And I think the gears kind of need to step up a notch, because, you know, this is a sequel and a lot more needs to be at stake and a lot more needs to happen. But something just as intriguing and mysterious would be really, really nice. With the pacing that they did was really good in Horizon, by having, you know, areas for action and boss battles and RPG elements, but also then you have those areas where you're just going through, you know, old temples and like the ones from like the ancient ones and stuff, and finding out about the story for like, you know, sometimes an hour at a time, and that was really, really good, and the balance was really nice. So if we can have that again in the second game, I'd be incredibly happy. At number 2, I want a more extensive melee combat system. Now, the melee combat in Horizon Zero Dawn wasn't bad by any means. It was a nice little addition. I'm happy that it was there. But I do think there's a lot more they could do with it, giving us various different melee weapons other than just the staff. Maybe some customization to those melee weapons. And if we do just have the staff, allow us to customize that with possible elemental properties. Like, you know, you get the electric staff at the end of Horizon Zero Dawn. Allow us to maybe have one that you can use with fire or corruption or tear or whatever. Just to add a bit more to the gameplay of Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I think it'd be really nice to have a more extensive melee combat system, which would just add a whole new layer to the game, meaning it wouldn't just be a rehash of Horizon Zero Dawn, because you'd have the gameplay you love in Horizon Zero Dawn, but you'd also then have this melee combat on top of that, a whole nother layer of combat in the game in which you can block, you know, you can parry, maybe do a bit of countering, stunning people, as well as your light and heavy attacks, and that could work really, really well. Who knows exactly how they do it? I'm not proposing that myself, just that I think it would be a cool idea to have in the game. If you have any specific ideas for, you know, a melee combat system and how it would work, let me know in the comment section below. And last, but certainly not least, at number 1, I want flying mounts. I think that was something that I would have loved in Horizon, is you see these Stormbirds and things, and you're like, I wonder if I can, you know, override them and fly them. That'd be awesome. And unfortunately, you can't. But it would be an amazing end game thing if towards the end of the game, and this could go into the customization of mounts, is that you're able to then fly mounts. That would be insane, but it has to be end game stuff. Like, you can't be in the middle of the game unlocking this, because then it's going to take you out of the exploration of the game. But if you're right at the very end of the game, you've done a lot of stuff, it could take a long side quest to be able to do or something that you unlock towards the end of the game, and you're finally able to fly mounts. And so you can get from A to B quickly, it'd look gorgeous flying through the clouds, looking down at the beautiful open world, and you'd probably be able to rain devastation on your enemies with those various weapons that things like Stormbirds have. So that is something that I'd love to see in Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I think a lot of people might disagree, saying that, oh no, what was good about it is, you know, you didn't have that sort of flying, and you could just, like, you had to kind of go through the world on foot, and it kind of gave you that sort of sense of being in that world, and everything was sort of taken in by the player, and I get that, definitely I get that. That's why I think this should be a very end game thing, in which, you know, it's not something that you can just do right off the bat, or, you know, all the time either. I think it should be very restricted sort of thing, but I think it'd be nice to have nonetheless. It'd be similar somewhat to the Regalia flying feature in Final Fantasy 15, I think. And that'd just be nice. I think that'd be a really nice feature, and it'd be fucking awesome soaring across the map. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed something a little bit different today. If you are new and you're here just because of Horizon Zero Dawn, hit that subscribe button. Maybe you'll enjoy what you see. I do a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins, and I will be doing a lot more Horizon Zero Dawn stuff when we get some news about Horizon Zero Dawn 2, I think, because I fucking loved Horizon Zero Dawn, and, you know, I'd love to cover the second game and give my thoughts on it and stuff like that. Won't do extensive news, I do not think, but I would like to sort of give my thoughts on things, and I will talk about it because I am really looking forward to it, so that'll be something that I, of course, do. I'll be starting back up my Horizon New Game Plus series soon as well, so stay tuned for that, because I know I stopped that, but I will continue it soon. So if you haven't already watched that, if you're new, go and check that out. It's a really, really good time. I really love that series. It's sort of heavily edited, going through New Game Plus, having a good time. It's great. So there's that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Comment down, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you all next time.